it's Sid Schumann, and I got a major score for you. Yes, Sorcery, it's here, and it's awesome. Okay, so first things first, I mean, this has been a bit of an elusive game. What's taken so long? That's one question I get asked all the time.
Well, coming out of E3, we knew there were some things about the title we weren't happy with, and we really wanted to do some retooling on the look of the game, the world of the game. We had the gameplay we wanted, we had the space we wanted to be in, but it just wasn't ready for public consumption yet.
Tell me a bit about like the look and feel of the universe. Is it still the Irish and Gaelic sort of folklore? And talk a bit about that.
We haven't gone entirely away from the Irish and Gaelic stuff, but we've actually broadened it to be a much more open-ended fantasy. We didn't want to be limited to very specific Celtic themes, so we actually take Celtic mythology as a jumping-off point, but it's really a fantasy world all of its own.
Tell me a bit about how you can sort of mix and match these different spells and what that means for the combat.
We notice with a lot of motion control games, it feels a bit like Simon Says. You're told to do something and you do it. That's not how a lot of action games work. With action games, you get to be creative. You get to come up with your own solutions to the problems that are presented to you. So what we wanted was a game where you could learn some easy gestures, but these then become tools that you can use in a combat. So you have basic spells. These basic spells do damage. You can use them in a variety of circumstances, but you can also layer them on top of each other in order to get more complicated and more powerful spell effects. But there's all sorts of like really clever things you can do. You can do things like pick a guy up in a whirlwind and push the whirlwind through a fire so it catches on fire and then becomes a firenado. There's a whole variety of ways that you can deal damage to the nasty monsters we have in this game.
I felt like I was able to dive right in and start basically, swirling the move controller around, swapping between different spells, comboing the different spells. Tell me about, your philosophy in terms of the motion gestures themselves, because I thought it was a very different take than most games I played.
We wanted something that was very accessible, so you could pick it up and start playing from the very beginning. So the very first spell you learn, Arcane Bolt, all you have to do is flick it forward. It's like throwing stuff at your enemy. But as you start to use it more, you discover there's a whole lot more depth to it. You can put English on it, you can curve shots, you can arc shots. And once you sort of master all the nuances of playing with Arcane Bolt, then we start adding other things in. All of a sudden you get Ice Spell. Well, okay, with Ice Spell, you can freeze guys in place, you can slow guys down. If you slow guys down, you can get in a different position so you can get off a better shot. You can freeze a guy and then shatter him with an Arcane Bolt. And so finally, near the end of the game, you have 7 different combat spells. You can use in a wide variety of different ways depending on the circumstances. But by that point, you're hours into the game and it all makes sense.
Sorcery is real and it's awesome.